Hello and welcome to Talking Content, the podcast that helps small business owners like you in professional services create content that converts and stands out. I'm your host, Ellen Bathgate, and in today's episode, we're going to dive straight into artificial intelligence in our content marketing, specifically talking about 3 big mistakes that I hate seeing, that I think we've all made, but I want you to stop making. So when you are using tools like ChatGPT, you absolutely should be using them, but please, you need to stop making these mistakes. So tune in, and let's talk about these 3 big mistakes I'm still seeing in AI-based content creation. Okay, so this is going to sound like I am anti-AI, which I am not. I am a huge fan of AI. Here at Content Collab, we use AI as part of our content creation strategy for our clients. It is a really important part and a huge time saver in terms of analyzing data and ideating and getting strategy and planning things out. It is absolutely amazing. And if you are in property management, real estate, professional services, and you are using a tool like ChatGPT to help you with your content creation, that's great. You should be doing that. The thing that frustrates me is when I see AI-generated posts that are unedited. It's okay to use AI. It is not okay to publish it unedited and expect it to work for you. What happens is when you fail to personalize your content, you lose the authenticity, you lose that connection, and so your audience just disconnects. They don't read the whole thing, they don't watch the whole video, and you've created this content kind of for nothing. So let me step you through the 3 biggest mistakes I am seeing. I wrote an article on this topic months ago, probably nearly 12 months ago at the time of this recording. And the thing that drives me crazy is I'm still seeing these mistakes. So let me step you through the 3 big mistakes I'm seeing. Mistake number 1 is excessive emoji use. Now, emojis are really fun and I really like using them. I use them when I'm sending a text message to my friends. I use them in my email marketing. I use them in my social media, but I only use them occasionally. I use them when I really feel like there's no other way to communicate exactly what I'm meaning, but I don't use them all the time. And if you have not programmed ChatGPT to take out those excessive emoji usage, you're going to have too many emojis in your social media posts. And what that means is it doesn't sound like you anymore. So if you have emojis that start the first line of your social media post and end the first line of your social media post, if you have bullet points that are all the same type of emoji, or you punctuate all of your posts with a little emoji, unless that's something you've been doing for years, then your audience is going to know that ChatGPT probably wrote the post for you. And it's fine that ChatGPT wrote the outline for you, but if you didn't bother to customize it, to remove some of those emojis, to replace them with things that you would actually use, or just get rid of them altogether, then your post all of a sudden disconnects from your audience. And the thing I am noticing is when we're using these excessive emojis, your captions become almost like the old stock photo. People scroll on past because they don't think you actually wrote it. So keep that in mind, monitor your emoji use. The second mistake I'm seeing, and this is specific to my Australian, New Zealand, British audience, is spelling. We don't use the same English spelling as our American friends do. So you need to either customize your GPT or you need to check it. So you can do this a couple of ways. You can either customize a GPT, create your own GPT and program it so that it always uses Australian English spelling, but you still need to check it because sometimes it forgets. Or once ChatGPT creates a piece of content for you, you can ask it to go through and re-edit for Australian English spelling if you forgot to include that in the command in the first place. Or you can just go and proofread it, which you should be doing anyway. Because even if you ask ChatGPT to do that proofread, you should still proofread it. And what you'll notice is if you are an Australian company, New Zealand company, and you are creating for an Australian or a New Zealand audience and you are using American spelling, people will assume that you've just used AI to create your content. They will assume you haven't proofread it, and they will assume that it's not authentic. So they'll scroll on by. And then all of a sudden you've spent this time, because even if ChatGPT writes your content for you, it still takes time to publish it. You've spent that time to have people scroll on past. So check your spelling. The third mistake I'm seeing is just generic opening lines. So cliched phrases like, hey, everybody, or celebrating this win, or attention landlords of Terrigal. These opening lines are typical AI opening lines. They don't sound like you, or they sound like everybody else. So these sorts of opening lines just make your post sound impersonal, and your audience will disconnect. So think about how you can create engaging opening lines. And that might mean that you need to train your GPT to do that. We do that a bit, but we actually have a 2-human rule. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. If you create a hook as your opening line, you are more likely to get people to read it. And if you actually wrote it, or you've programmed your GPT to behave just like you, you'll be able to get much better opening lines. Let me tell you about our 2-human rule that you might want to implement yourself. When we create content here at Content Collab, we have this 2-human rule because we do use a bunch of different pieces of AI in all of our content planning, creation, and our data assessing and all of that. So we always want to make sure that, yeah, sure, you want to use the robot for all the things the robot's good at, but you also want to make sure that you are getting human eyes on it. So we have a 2-human rule, and it goes like this. 2 humans need to read it before it gets published. That's our rule. Now, in our team, we're able to implement that and just make sure that 2 people on our team read the content before it gets published. But that's our rule, 2 humans. And the reason we have 2 humans in the process is because sometimes when you're in that content creation mode, you can just get used to rereading your own content. So we just get somebody else to read it as well. And that might be something you want to implement as well. Whether you use our team to create your content for you or you do it yourself, you might just want to get a second person to have a read over it before it goes live. And then that way you're checking your emoji use, you're checking your spelling, and you're checking that opening line to just optimize to get people to actually consume your content. Are you struggling to create engaging content for your property management business? I'd love to invite you to download our free content starter kit for personal brands. It will really help you transform your online presence. It will really help you never run out of content ideas, and it will really help you with your templates and your brand feel. So download our free personal brand content starter kit at contentcollab.com.au/brand today. Okay, let's talk about personalization when it comes to your AI content. As I mentioned earlier, we want to avoid this stock photo effect. So years ago, when stock photos first came out, we didn't know they were stock photos. We just thought they were beautiful photos that some of our friends managed to publish. But then we got introduced to the wonderful world of stock photos. And if anybody listening has a Canva account, you know how fabulous stock photos are. You can just grab the type of image you need for the type of post you have, and that's great. However, you might have noticed that on your social media, when you post a stock photo, it generally doesn't perform as well as when you post a real photo, especially a photo that includes people in it. This is what I call the stock photo effect. So when you're using stock photos, you'll notice that your audience doesn't engage as much. We see it with our clients. So some of our clients do want to use stock photos in some of their images. And we notice it in the data when we're looking at their content. We can create almost the exact same caption, but if we pair it with a stock photo, it doesn't perform as well as when we pair it with a photo of them or their team. And what you'll realize is that AI-generated text content is becoming like the stock photo effect. So people scan past obviously AI-generated captions. So what that just means is you just need to add some personality to any captions that AI helps you generate. It doesn't mean stop using it, it just means read it. Maybe implement the 2-person rule like we do. Something else you want to just do is just make sure that you're using the right tone for your content. So AI will learn your tone, especially if you create your own custom GPT. It will learn your tone of voice. Something we always do is when we're working with our clients is we have like a tone guide for each client so that we can work within that, so that we know what words they do use and what words they don't use and how they say things. You might do a similar thing for yourself. You could upload that to ChatGPT and teach it how to do this for your content. So here are my 4 practical tips for using AI in your content creation so that you don't make these 3 big mistakes in your own content. Tip 1 is just always proofread and edit. Review it. Check for errors. Remember that when it comes to data, it may not be quoting the right data. You need to check everything. Make sure, number 2, customize your prompts. So have some prompts that you use on a regular basis that are clear with what it is you're trying to create using AI. Number 3 is, even if you are a big emoji user, you might want to start considering using fewer emojis. And the reason for that is AI generated content often uses more emojis. And if you used to be a prolific emoji user, your content might look a little bit like AI wrote it. So you might want to dial down your emoji use. And then number 4 is just adjust your language settings. Now, you might do this in your AI tools. So if you're using ChatGPT as an example, you might do that in your custom GPT, but you still need to proofread it. So tip 1 is always proofread, and you might want to implement our 2-human rule in your own business. I know that it probably sounds like I'm critical of AI, and I am not. It is the most amazing tool, and we use it in our business. We use a bunch of different AI tools in our business here at Content Collab. So it's not that I don't like AI. It's just that I know that you can use it to supercharge your content. You just need to make sure you avoid those 3 little mistakes. 3 big mistakes, because I want your content to connect, to convert. If you're going to spend time on it, or if you're going to ask my team to spend time on it, we want your content to convert. Thanks for tuning in to Talking Content. If you found today's episode helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with one of your business besties. Until next time, happy content creating.